Good day, lovely people. My name is Dominique, and I'm happy to be with you on this, the 10th of March, 2022. In a series of videos for the next year, we're going to work on preparing you for the final exam in November. But I just thought I'd quickly make this video now to talk about university application, which is super important in this period. And since some of you might not be aware of that, I'm telling you now. So my name is, as I said, Dominique. I studied at UJ. I did engineering at Northwest University, and I also studied in the Netherlands. The aim of this video series, therefore, is not to explain some of these mathematical concepts in detail. There's a lot of backup additional information on YouTube, right? Available for dedicated things. But I learned by doing examples, so I'm just going to work out a lot of exam papers. And hopefully you, by the time you get to maybe June when you have to write the exam, and September again perhaps, that we have a whole big catalog through which you can work, and that helps you in key moments when you're not sure what has to happen, you don't have time to figure it out, and I can really just break it down to you in a quick session. Okay, so let's talk about this exam then quickly. There's obviously two papers. The one is more algebraic and really pertains to functions. You can also see there's a little bit of finance in there, differential calculus and probability. And the second paper is really about geometry and trigonometry. Okay, both important, and don't flunk out like me. I did well in the first one and I really suffered in the second one. That's not the aim, right? Now I quickly worked out a 2017 paper, broke down the topics. You can see there's 11 questions. I think it's summated to 100 marks. And I worked it out as a percentage of the question paper and grouped it by a little bit loosely around topics. So, but what comes out of this is that you can see functions are super important, right? Functions make up about 40% of the paper, or what they would call functions. I mean, debatably, differential equations also fall into this category, but okay, let's talk about this. Functions, 40%. This first thing that you're doing in the first part of the year, series. Series makes out just less than 20%, so that's also important. There's one financial question in the paper typically, and that's easy 10 marks. And then you have two smaller probability questions, and that's almost also 10% of the paper. And differential equations makes about, I'd say, 25% in the end. Okay, so that's a breakdown of topics and sort of roughly which importance, or the amount of importance that's given to each individual sort of topic, let's say. Okay, but I'm not actually here to talk about that now, strangely enough. I'm here to talk about universities, and that it's super important for you now to actively plan and prepare for next year, right? So you need to think about what you want to do, what you want to study next year. You have to really get the maximum marks grade 12, but also the maximum marks for mathematics in grade 12. You have to be aware of some universities requiring an additional test to your national certificate mark, a bench test. And when to apply? Well, most universities, I think, open now already in the 1st of April. And for some courses with a limited amount of students they allow, the sooner you apply, the better. Okay, so if you want to apply for, I don't know, architecture, physiotherapy, now is the time to apply. Don't wait till September. Okay. And then specifically, I chose randomly these universities with a disclaimer that I'm biased towards UJ, so Just that. Okay, UCT, Admission Requirements. This is, as I said, your National Senior Certificate mark, but also this National Bench Test. And here I have a screenshot of this bench test sort of web page. And for example, if you want to apply to the Faculty of Law or Medicine, they require this bench test result by the 30th of June, which is, as you realize, just around the corner in any case. What they'll do is split or divide your marks into proficient, intermediate, and basic, basically. And so let's have a look at the admission requirements of UCT. Now, I strongly advise that you go and sniffle around a bit on the prospective universities' websites. Some make it easier, some make it harder to find the requirements, the details of which is by default kind of overwhelming and sort of complicated sometimes. So here we have Faculty of Commerce of UCT. They have Band A applicants, Band B applicants. They have a set of requirements for guaranteed admission and a set of requirements for possible admission, okay? So you need to go and check what the two breakdowns is of these type of applicants. But what I want to focus on is that even for commerce here, we're talking about Bachelor in Business Science. They require this national bench test and they require 60% mathematics. Okay, again, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think they should have done a better job and said, well, this is mathematics and really specified that it's not mathematics literacy, but okay. Just for clarity, obviously for actuarial sciences and quantitative finance, this required maths is 80%, right? But again, go and check which one of these two you fall into Band A and Band B and do it now. Okay. Then obviously UCT also has engineering and there the required mathematics is 75% and also requires this national benchmark test. Okay, so takeaway, a lot of homework to do for you now is to go and do a lot of research on this, and that mathematics is important. Okay, having said that, let's go to UJ. Now UJ, I realize that I have an old date here, but let's say that's the closing date. I know that they open now on the 1st of April, so that's important to know. Don't wait till September to apply. Now UJ has this online prospectus, which pages like a book basically. And here they give a nice breakdown. So you'll see you'll get a degree. You'll get the minimum points required to be able to apply. And then you'll get a breakdown of the minimum requirement for English, mathematics, and they break it down to mathematics literacy. And then they also give a nice description of actually the career that you'll be able to follow after finishing this degree. So for mathematics, for example, for architecture, they don't accept mathematics literacy, okay? And a 60% requirement in mathematics. In this prospectus also is a whole page on how to calculate this admission point score. But even for something like BA communication design, mathematics important, and they accept a 50% mathematics literacy. Again, this nice breakdown of what you'll be able to do with the degree. I really find it super. But what I want to give as takeaway here is that even for something like interior design and fashion design, they have mathematics as a requirement, right? So mathematics, you can't get away from it, I'm afraid. Accounting, obviously, mathematics, not mathematics literature. Literacy, sorry, not literature. So I advise you to go and look at their prospectus if you want to go to UJ. And then VITS, this I checked up last year. So, but again, Most courses require mathematics, even if you're going to do humanities. Some courses require a basic level of mathematics as entry. Okay, so takeaway from this video. I don't know, mathematics is important. Look at all the available courses in it. So if you decide to go to a university, whichever, look at all the available courses, because a lot of them have nuances and a lot of different aspects. So you can really cherry pick out of the different degrees what precise direction you want to go into. Apply sooner rather than later. And by saying that, I mean at the latest, in my opinion, something like, I don't know, May. I wouldn't push it past May. And you also be aware that you might also need this national benchmark test. Okay? Be sure to check out my next video, which is about deciding what to choose at university in terms of the job market. Okay?